There's a lot of guys that we look at on this roster, 26, who could be with another team or retired this time, in a few months. The big name, obviously, is Dak Prescott, and whether or not Dak will get the monster contract that he has been lined up to or linked to potentially for the last year. He didn't get it. Clarence, is Dak Prescott going to get that contract, or is he going to be franchised?
I think he's going to get that contract.
Do you really?
The Cowboys have a lot of cap room, but it starts with Dak Prescott, so it can really address these other things. And he would have signed earlier this season. The Cowboys had an offer for $33 million on the table. Dak wanted 40 after that 3-0 start. His agent wanted a little more money. I think they're going to come back to the means here. It's going to be somewhere between 33 and 35 million. But Dak Prescott will be the highest paid player in Cowboys history, and certainly one of the highest paid players in NFL history.
I was just going to say, will he have a contract higher than Russell Wilson's, who is right now the highest contract for quarterbacks in the NFL?
Yeah, I don't think it will get there, but the question is that Patrick Mahomes is probably going to sign a deal this offseason. Yeah. He's going to blow it out of the water. Right. Deshaun Watson could get a contract this offseason. He's going to blow it out of the water. So get Dak done, because the money is only going up. It's not going down. Dak will get at least $33 million. It's not going down.
So Dak Prescott gets that 5-year or 6-year contract that he covets. There's some other guys out there that they want big money and are due big money, and they would get it if they go elsewhere. What about Amari Cooper? Amari Cooper last year, 2018, was great. This year, he was good, but he had moments where he vanished. Talking about the New England game, where he just wasn't like he was even there. The game at Chicago, that he was just not even existent. When you looked at him this season, do you say, you got to pay that guy like a top 5 guy, or do you look at him and say, buyer beware?
Well, that's the question for us on the outside. The Cowboys, on paper, I asked Jerry specifically about Amari Cooper, and does he still want to pay Amari Cooper? He said yes. Amari Cooper wants at least $18 million. Did he play like a guy that should get $18 million toward the end of the season? One thing that we have to give at least him the benefit of the doubt is that he played injured. He had a lot of injuries throughout the season.
But this is a guy, and this is the red flag about him. I love the guy. I think he's a terrific player. But he had a little bit of a problem. It was always a nagging this or a nagging that when he was in Oakland. Now he comes here, and last season he was so good, and then this particular season he was good. But even when you asked him, are you hurt? Are you hurt? He would never use it. Anybody who watched him would tell you that something's wrong.
Right. He did not have the same burst in the season. So based on what we saw early in the season, the type of player he was, getting the separation, he was not getting that same separation. So you have to think that there was something wrong with him.
Absolutely.
So I'm sure that's how the Cowboys bleed. They want to play him, pay him. But if they don't come to a number, look for him to get the transition tag or the franchise tag. But he's going to be here next year. There's no question about that.
The other big one whose name was never thrown around because he had such a good season 2 years ago when he was named the Cowboys Defensive MVP, even though it should have been Tank Lawrence, is cornerback Byron Jones, a former first-round pick. He went up, he went down, and they moved him back to corner, and they got a little bit of pressure on the passer. He was pretty good. Now, a lot of teams didn't throw his way. My big knock on Byron Jones is he didn't intercept a lot of passes. In fact, I don't think he had any. But when you look at Byron Jones, who can be a free agent, I talked to him about it. He was very pragmatic about it. He's very bright. Do you think he comes back? I don't. Do you think he comes back?
Well, I just think it's just what money he gets on the market. If someone's going to pay him big money, if you're going to pay him top 5 cornerback money, then let him go. Right. But I don't know if he's going to get top 5 cornerback money because he doesn't turn the ball over. But there's no question about it. The Cowboys are going to address the cornerback position in the draft of free agency. They need more than just Byron Jones. They need 2 corners. Let's be honest about that.
Chido Awuzie went. I started out really, really well. He slid. Jordan Lewis was pretty good. Probably their best secondary player. What about safety? I mean, this is a position that just drives me nuts. They never address it with a high pick. They could have gone.
Jeff Heath's a free agent?
Yeah, Jeff Heath's a free agent. He's been a good pro. It's an amazing story. Minka Fitzpatrick was a guy they could have had. They didn't want to give up a 1. Now, he had a great year with the Steelers. Are they ever going to go out and dedicate a real contract at a safety? We haven't seen a real one since Roy Williams, early in Roy Williams' career, not the second half, the early part, and Darren Woodson. It's been more than 10 years.
The problem here is that because they finished 8-8, because they have so many other guys free, because they have so many needs, and we haven't even talked about the defensive tackle position with Malik Collins and Michael Bennett are free, and for this defense to work, this 4-3 defense, you need a war daddy at pass rushing tackle position, and they haven't had that. And so you just look at the draft, there's nowhere they're going to draft a safety high.
Well, then you're going to keep getting the same results because they never get plays out of the back end. It kills them all the time. Leighton Vander Esch. Let's go to Leighton Vander Esch. Former first round pick. Great rookie year. This year, playing hurt all the time. They had to sit him out and put him on injured reserve because of spinal stenosis. You mentioned in the Star Telegram before, there are guys who've come back from it and played with it, and other guys that basically forced him to retire. Is he going to retire?
He's going to try to play with it. He's having surgery this month at some point to have take care of some nerve damage in that neck. He's going to have a new, I guess, shoulder pad and whatever else equipment fit, so he won't be able to bend his neck back or go forward too much. He's going to try to play. Again, this is the injury that forced Michael Irvin to retire.
Right.
And a lot of other guys who played with it, they haven't played 10 years. Most of them played like 6 years.
And that was it.
So it's going to be a question of can he come back and play and how long will he play. But it's a position they need to address. Sean Lee's a free agent, and they may have to bring Sean Lee back because of the concern and questions regarding Leighton Vander Esch.
It's amazing. Sean Lee, a veteran who's battled injuries his whole career, played 16 games this season for the first time in his NFL career. What about Jason? I'm betting Jason Witten retires. If Jason Garrett's gone, then I really think Jason Witten retires. Do you see Jason Witten coming back?
Yeah, I see Jason retiring and moving on, and it's time. It is time. 16 years, you cannot question what Jason Witten meant, what type of player he was, but he's not the player he used to be, and right now he's a progress stopper.
Yep, I agree. I don't think Jason Witten embarrassed himself.
No.
He was fine. He was okay. But the problem was Blake Jarwin was a guy who needed to play a little bit more. Jaylon Smith was a guy I looked at who regressed a lot. I didn't see any plays out of him much until week 17, at which point it didn't matter. Do you think the Jaylon Smith that we saw last season when he was so dynamic and was all over the place, is that guy going to come back, or is this the guy in 2019? That's who he is.
Well, he's paid, and so he's going to be here, but you hope that improvement up front at tackle, improvement next to him at linebacker will help get Jaylon Smith back to being the guy he was. Remember last offseason, he didn't spend time here. He spent time going to school, getting his degree at Notre Dame. So hopefully he'll be here full time, getting his body back and to be back to the Jaylon Smith that we saw in 2018.
Okay, last thing. Obviously, the Cowboys are going to need a new punter. Chris Jones is bad this year. No, we're going to go.
We're going to talk about the punter. We're
Right.
talking about the punter.
We
already got a kicker.
All three phases of the game. Got Kai Forbath is the Dallas Cowboys 2019 MVP. Give me your top 3 areas of need. Forget the coaching staff. Forget the general manager. We can't fix those right now. In terms of personnel on the field, what are your top 3 priorities for the Dallas Cowboys in 2020?
Defensive tackle,
cornerback,
and finding out someone to play that weak side linebacker.
Weak side linebacker. Give me safety. I want plays in the back end. Yes, tackle, safety, and then the weak side linebacker position. So he said offense, offense, offense. But as we all know, special teams will win you championships. I really don't know that. Jason Garrett always said that. So be sure to follow all of these off-season goings-on with the Dallas Cowboys. Clarence E, the Fort Worth Star Telegram, and myself, Mac Engel.